When the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, says a few things, it's just worthwhile listening to. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 lessons that you can use to actually upgrade your financial literacy and take advantage of the economy and the economic times we're in to actually retire early. Guys, keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi Sharma and I am the founder and buyer's agent here at Search Property. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode of Search Property TV. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and of course, smash that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows to push this video out to the people that need it. In this video, I want to dissect a few key lessons that Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has 100 million plus in terms of his net worth, is saying, and how you can prepare for what is about to come. Now on this channel, I've got a video coming out around inflation and debt and potentially hyperinflation and what that could mean for a lot of people. But I think these 5 lessons could really help open up your mind to understand there is a world out there and that we can prepare ourselves for it instead of feeling sorry for ourselves. Now this video will trigger some of you. I'm not gonna lie, there are some concepts in here that you will resonate with, and then there's concepts out there that you'll go, traditionally, I've not been equipped to think this way, and this could challenge my inner beliefs. So obviously, take it with a grain of salt. Keep an open mind, because I think when smart people like this are doing things out there, it's just worthwhile to listen to because you could learn a thing or two. Someone I look up to is Robert Kiyosaki because of the work he's done in the financial literacy game and education game. I think there's so many things that he talks about even 20, 25 years ago that are still relevant now. So I want to jump straight into lesson 1. Your house is not an asset.
Goes back to the financial statement. Income, expense, asset, liability. So debt falls in here. So if you, let's say I'm going to buy, everybody says I'm going to buy a house, and everybody says my house is an asset. That's not true. Your house is a liability. I don't care if you have no debt on it or not. A house is a liability. Same as if you have a car. A car is a liability. And the reason for that is, as we talked about earlier, the 6 words that are basics of financial education, financial intelligence. Income, expense, asset, liability. And the 2 other words are cash flow. So when you look at the average person, they have a job. Money comes in here. They pay for their house, and the money goes to a bank through a mortgage. So it's not an asset because the cash is flowing out, so it's a liability. So the definition of liability, does it take money from your pocket? And for an asset, does it put money in your pocket? So when I have a rental property here, it puts money in my pocket. So if I live in the house, it's a liability, because even if I have no debt on it, I still have taxes, depreciation, repairs, and upkeep, insurance, and all this. When I rent a property, I've done a good job buying it and structuring it. Every month, it sends me money. So I started off when I was 25. I had a little 1-bedroom condo, and it put 25 bucks in my pocket. It was a start. So this was good debt. You say the debt also went out and paid, but it also put $25 in my pocket. So net, I was making money from my little house. So today, my wife and I own 6,500 of them. And every month, 6,500 houses put money in my pocket. My people who live in them love me and all this because they have a place to live. But all of this comes from debt. So they're 100% finance here. It's all debt. So this is good debt. And what makes it good debt are the 2 most important words. Cash flow. Does that make sense to you?
This is an ongoing mistake that people are going to keep making. Now, we've been making it for a long time and we're going to continue doing it. Now, a large portion of people can't simply afford to do it. So that's where we start seeing things like rent vesting, which I think is such a really big hack, no matter where you are in the world. If you are rent vesting, you really are setting yourself up for long-term wealth. When people go out there buying their homes thinking it's an asset, when in fact you can see why clearly it's a liability, is something most people should question. Now, you've got to see people in your lives that have actually gone out there, bought their own homes. Are they happier paying down that mortgage? Or could they have lived a different life? And this is where I need you to start questioning things. Of course, none of this is financial advice. However, it's just important to understand when smart people like this are talking about it and smart people are doing these things, it just makes sense to start opening your mind to maybe learn a thing or two. Lesson 2, multiple streams of income.
Okay. And number 1 is called earned income. This is what happens when you go to school and you get a job and you work for money. Earned income is you working for money. It's the highest taxed income. That's why that advice, go to school, get a job and work hard. You're working for
outdated.
Earned income. Yay, yay. You pay a lot of tax. The second type of income is portfolio income. I should get portfolio income is also called capital gains. That's when you buy low, sell high. So that's portfolio, and I don't know the tax rate, but years ago it was about 20%, I forget now. It's changed. So most people, when they go to school, they get a job, they work for earned income, and they invest for the long term in the stock market, they're investing for portfolio income. And the third type of income is the income that myself and Kim and Kenny and all my advisors invest on your parents.
Passive income.
It's called passive.
Now, I hear a lot about people going, no, don't start that business, don't start that side hustle because that's risky. That is so risky. Oh, I don't want to invest. Don't invest into something. Save your money, buy a house and pay it down. That's traditionally what we've been taught by everyone in our lives. Our parents, our teachers at school. It just seems like that was the only way around. Now, of course, there's so much information available now, and a lot of you guys that are watching my channel that may be questioning that system. And I talk to you guys on strategy sessions about it. It's the fact that there is another way. Obviously, rent vesting is one thing, but when you're looking at risk, I think it's more riskier to have one source of income versus multiple streams of income. Because when we see the pandemic and where we see the whole economy shut down, who lost their jobs? People lost their jobs, and that was the one source of income they had. So if they lost that income, they're going to zero. For me, in my mind, that makes no sense. Why would you not want to set up multiple streams of income? Because in truth, those multiple streams of income start compounding, whether it's you starting a side hustle or whether it's you buying investments and investing into assets that actually produce cash flow. Those things will all increase, and if you do it strategically, you could actually get benefits of all worlds where you're making money from earned income, you're also going in there and getting money from your portfolio income, and you're also getting passive income. Passive income is essentially where you get to financial independence and freedom, and then you can live a life of choice. And this is exactly what I talk about. This is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Lesson 3, rich don't work for money.
This is the difference. And a lot of people read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but they didn't get the message. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I said the rich don't work for money. Well, this is where most people are focusing on. This was Poor Dad. Most people watching right now want a paycheck. That was Poor Dad. They work for money. And then they try and reduce their expenses. That's poor people thinking. I'm going to work hard, I'm going to try and save a little money. That's ridiculous. That's why you're poor. Got to change that thought. And this here is Rich Dad. Rich Dad said the rich don't work for money. The rich work for assets, and assets are down here. So this is called a P&L, and this is called a balance sheet. Now again, it's the words. And from the Bible, I'm not really religious, but the word becomes flesh. You've got to know this word here. When I talk to my friends, we're talking about balance sheets. How many assets do you have offset via liabilities? And the average person, like my poor dad, a PhD, most employees, they think here, they think P&L, profit and loss. And the rich think in balance sheets. And when I talk to the average person, they have no idea what a balance sheet is. You know, they call their house an asset, which was number 2 in Rich Dad Poor Dad, when their house is really a liability. And so the reason people are poor is they have liability after liability after liability they call assets.
Okay, I see this on like every second or third video on personal finance when it comes to YouTube, and I think people just need to open up their minds. It's not about simply saving your money. So many people are focused on, oh, I get to live frugally and like, you know, I'm gonna retire early because I get to save more money. Okay, that's a portion of it, but that's such a defensive mindset that you're like, oh, well, the maximum I can earn is, say, $10,000. Now, if I can only earn $10,000, I need to maximize my savings. The problem I have with that is that your lifestyle goes to shit. It goes to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I better not eat out. Oh, okay, I better not do that, you know, one trip that I want to. What I see happening in that scenario is a shitload of regret. And for me, I don't want regret. So the way I would like to do it is to go, well, if I can save more money, that's great. But I also have a lifestyle, right? I want to maintain that because, you know, I'm in my 20s, 30s, and 40s only once. So I really want to enjoy my time here. So if I'm going, well, instead of me trying to increase how much I save, why are we asking the question about increasing our income? Right? It's not just about savings, it's income that increases. And of course, you can only save 100% of the income you make. So if you've capped out at $10,000 and you can now save $10,000 without, you know, living on tuna cans, I'm not sure how, but if you can do that, well done, you save 100% of your savings. But I would much rather be earning $10,000 from my job and then be making an extra $10,000 from, you know, my portfolio and my investments. And if I end up spending $14,000, well, I'm still saving more money. And if I still end up actually spending more than that original person, I'm actually gonna have a better lifestyle and I'm gonna save more money, which allows me to use that money with the velocity of money, right? And then use that to actually go in and invest in more assets to then produce more cash flow. That's the whole game here, guys. It's not just about saving. Saving is just one component of this entire structure. When interest rates are this low, for me, it's a no-brainer. When most people are trying to get out of debt, I'm trying to get into debt because I understand that with inflation, that erodes my debt. Debt becomes irrelevant with inflation. And this is where we need to really start paying attention to what's happening right now and why things that we learnt 15, 20 years ago doesn't apply anymore. Lesson 4, fiat money is fake.
And then there's government money, which is fiat currency, which is the dollar, the yen, the peso, the euro, the yuan.
Yeah.
Fake. And everybody's working hard for it. It's like eating fake food or drinking fake water. That's why people are getting sick financially, because they're working for fake money.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's fake assets, which was another part of the fake millennial, the fake generation series.
Okay, so please, someone tell me in the comments down below if this makes sense to you. People are going out there and saving money, fiat money, right? So Australian dollar, US dollar, wherever. And so you save this money and you work so hard to save it. However, you've got the central banks out there printing money out of thin air, right? And you suddenly go, well, how do you not question that you're taking so much time to save this money, which you think is finite in supply, that nobody else can create this, but you realize that it loses value every time someone else prints that money and creates artificial money. So you've got your money that you're trying to save, this fiat currency, and you're just having it sit in the bank account, but yet someone in the back is just printing more and more and more money. It means the dollar value dies. Now, it doesn't make any sense to me why people would be saving fiat currency. Just think about it, right? Why would you want to save a currency that's actually lost 95% of its value over the years? To me, it makes more sense to actually attach my fiat currency, that fake dollar, to real assets like silver, gold, Bitcoin, real estate, and these things all appreciate with inflation, and inflation of course occurs when there's more money supply. What have they just done? They've just been printing money everywhere in the world, and that is all leading to asset price inflation. I've got a video coming out later this week around debt and inflation and potentially hyperinflation, so you should definitely subscribe to the channel, and if you're liking this content, drop me a like. Now, before we kick into lesson 5, which is my final lesson and probably the most important for your mindset, I do want to remind you that if you want to learn about real estate and understand the mindset and I guess strategy around how you can actually obtain financial freedom and retire early, you need to go down into the link in the description below and get Confusion to Clarity online course. This is a course that doesn't just go and figure out, well, okay, buy a property and this is the rent I get. No, it goes beyond that. It makes you understand that there is more to this bigger picture, that you can take advantage of what is happening right now and actually be able to leverage that cheap debt to have huge amounts of wealth. If you're interested in that, there's a link in the description below. Lesson 5, traditional teachers lied to you.
Very little difference. These guys pay 40% of their money in taxes. So they make $1,000, they're going to spend $400 in taxes. These guys that make $1,000, they're going to pay 60% in tax. So our schools are teaching entrepreneurship, but they're not teaching them tax. Okay? And because they're focusing on income. Over here, it's 20% in tax. So they make $1,000, only $200 goes to tax, and these guys, 0%. So the reason financial education isn't working in our school systems is they're teaching financial education for these people and these people, but to really become rich, you have to focus on this side here. And that's the difference between a rich dad and the financial and what they're teaching in school right now. I'd rather be on this side. This side is a lot harder, but in the long run, it's more fun for me. On this side here, it's harder, but you're paying tax constantly. So these guys here are saying tax to rich. Well, these guys don't pay taxes. And as strange as that may seem, and I'm talking about legal, this is all over the world. So that's the big difference here. One last thing, which I think most millennials understand, is, in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I wrote about Ray Kroc, founder of McDonald's. And he was teaching at the University of Texas, the MBA program. And Ray asked, and most of the MBAs are going to come out here. So Ray Kroc asked him, he says, what business is McDonald's in? And everybody yelled and said, no, we know, you're in hamburgers. And Ray says, no, we're not, McDonald's is not hamburgers. McDonald's is in the business of real estate over here. So you have McDonald's here, and the money McDonald's makes buys the real estate. And that is my formula. This is Rich Dad, I own real estate.
Something I will extend on here that Robert Kiyosaki is actually talking about is that the concept of taxes, right? When you're an employee, you work and you get paid a salary. But the thing is, when you look at your pay slip, you see this is how much I get after the tax man's been paid and any other contributions that have been made. However, when we actually flip that around to being a business owner, entrepreneur, and running your own shop, you pay yourself first. You pay taxes, some cases a year or 2 years later. So if the same person was getting paid $1,000 from their job, they end up in their hand at the end of the week, come into their bank account, maybe $600, right? But if we were the entrepreneur here and running our own shop, if we got paid $1,000, we could use the $1,000 and invest and buy other things and grow the business, and then a year later be required to pay that tax. Now, of course, everyone's got a different way to manage their taxes. They might put it into a different bank account. But for me, it just makes sense that if you've got the money now, use that to generate more money. And the thing is that you'll be able to use that money to create enough money to pay for your taxes later on. I know I just said money a lot of times, but hey, it's important. The other point that's really interesting is with school teachers, right? Now, look, if you're a school teacher, you're doing your job, but something I really find interesting, and I found it interesting while I was at school, is how my business teacher, right, that was teaching me about business and how to run a business, had never run a business himself. Am I missing something here? Like, how could you teach me contextually? Are you the right person to tell me I guess the challenges of running a business? I don't think so. I mean, you've read it in a textbook and you might be able to teach me and communicate that to me. But unfortunately, I find it really hard to listen to someone when they actually haven't gone out there and done it themselves. The perfect example is if you came to me and said, hey, Ravi, can you teach me how to start up an ice cream store or, a clothing business? I've never done it. Right? So I would be the wrong person to ask. You should actually go out and get mentored or at least ask the questions to someone who's gone out there and was successful at that. You've got someone here that I'm discussing about, Robert Kiyosaki, who's done really well financially across multiple investments, and one of them being real estate. You can see how all of these lessons come together. Now, in my case, obviously I've done well in terms of building my portfolio, but that's where context plays a part. You need to ask the right questions, but to the right people. You could be asking the right questions, but to the wrong people, and you're gonna get the wrong answer. And that's the formula, I guess, for life, really. Now, in preparing this video, it took me hours and hours of research. I personally love Robert Kiyosaki stuff, but I also didn't want to give you so much here that you're like, oh my God, my mind is blown and I'm overwhelmed. I wanted to give you quick, snappy 5 lessons here, but if you are interested in content like this and easy to digest content from people that are way smarter than me, if you are interested in that, 1, you should subscribe to the channel, and 2, definitely leave me a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. There are a lot of smart people out there, and yes, I go and listen to their podcasts, watch their YouTube videos, and of course read their books, but the thing is, I've only got a limited amount of time, and so do you. So you can't possibly sit there and try and take everything from everyone. So if I can be that point where I can actually get you some more information in a quick, easy, digestible way, then definitely let me know, and I'll be making more videos like this on the channel. Guys, I thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really do appreciate it. And I love that you're spending time here learning about personal finance and educating yourself about financial literacy. We didn't get taught this stuff at school, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So if you do enjoy this content, definitely come back to the channel. Check out my other videos on the channel as well. There's videos about my portfolio, as well as, looking at other things like collectibles, like Pokemon cards, and of course, cryptocurrency. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. But also, if you're interested in real estate and how to really build wealth through there, the online course is perfect for you. Confusion to Clarity online course. You'll find it in the description below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys. We live in strange times. Australian housing bubble, RBA interest rates cut again, stamp duty cuts, first home buyer scheme. It's a confusing story. Instead of saying it's confusing, maybe we should take ownership and accountability to really gain some clarity with some education. It's about 2 things: mindset and financial security. It's never been more important to educate yourself. Buying your first home, whether it's owner-occupier or investing in your first property in Australia, can be really confusing, but it doesn't have to be. It's about financial security and mindset. It's not about simply getting debt. It's about what we do with that debt to move forward. What you will learn in this course is a structured step-by-step process that will help guide you into buying your first property. It comes down to one basic need: to go from confusion to clarity. It comes down to you. There isn't an establishment out there that's going to help us figure this out. So join me as we go through this course together.